We go. I'm ready to go.
Hi, I'm Austin Northam.
And I'm Taylor Pratt, and welcome to the Kitchen Table Podcast.
We're here to motivate, educate, and relate to you guys, sharing our stories, helping you to get 1% better in all areas of your life. Tonight we're going to talk about leadership. We talked about ownership in season 1. Now we're going to hit on leadership and a couple other things. Season two is all about influence. How can we influence our peers? How can we influence our loved ones? How can we influence children? How can we influence other adults and share some wisdom? Anybody and everybody, even our dog, how can we influence animals?
There we go.
Dogs are the cutest. I saw a cute dog today, by the way. There's a nice Bernedoodle. I was driving home, I saw it. Side life there.
So you got better today?
Did I get
dog?
Yeah, it was great.
Happiness right there.
Yeah, I was in California this weekend. It was just a quick little kicking gig, and there are so many dogs just at the beach. It was great. I was like, this is January. And these guys are outside playing volleyball. Dogs are just walking on the beach. It was great. Way better than cold Midwest.
What is it, 80 degrees there?
Yeah, it was 72.
72?
72 in
perfect weather.
No humidity. It was literally the best weather.
I'm hanging out with my dog on the beach, too.
Yeah, you right there. You probably at work.
And season 2, though.
Season 2, baby. We're here.
Finally.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed the trailer. We're on track for season 2 to get the podcast growing. We got a website coming out. We're gonna have all sorts of stuff coming up as we get through season 2. But first, let's talk about the end of season 1. So New Year's is officially here. The first month is almost over. We talked in November and December about goals and setting ourselves up for success in 2022. Hope you guys are doing good on your, I hate calling them New Year's resolutions because they should just be goals. Me personally, I'm doing great on mine. I feel like I'm really doing well.
How so?
I just feel like I've been disciplined. I feel like I've been taking care of my body. I feel like the things that I'm trying to accomplish are starting to flow together, and I'm still learning a lot in the process. Definitely not what I would say over the hump, but there's going to be a hump coming soon. So I feel good about it, if that makes sense. Just in like the obstacle, like you're getting over the hump of the obstacle.
Oh, I thought you were about like going downhill.
No, yeah, that's what I want. I mean, yeah, I want to get over the hump to be on the mountain, be on the top of the mountain.
To go to the next mountain?
Yeah, but then it'll go down a little bit because it would be a new mountain, right? So you struggle naturally when you have something you haven't struggled with before, you know? So I'm going to dip a little, but then I'm going to go up a higher mountain.
Do you struggle on the way up or the way down then? Now I'm confused.
You struggle on the way up, but on the way down, it breaks you down before you're ready to pursue that challenge. So at first, you're always like, oh, crap, and then you just kind of like do bad or struggle. So I guess you struggle both ways. If you're not at the top, you're struggling. That's key to life right there. You heard it here, folks. Heard it here first, folks. If you are not at the top, you are struggling.
99% of people in the world.
And you're even
in the blender, they're struggling.
In all honesty, you're struggling even at the top because you got to stay at the top. Life's a struggle, bro. Right. You're either just getting out of a struggle, just getting in a struggle, or you're about to be in a struggle.
Yeah.
Life's hell, man.
I'd say you're almost more in a struggle being at the top because it's always like people always trying to beat you.
Yeah, you just gotta.
Everyone always trying to.
They're going up the mountain. You just gotta kick them down, push them up.
There we go. King of the hill.
Yeah, it's literally what I think of. You just got to go out and attack that sucker. Life's hell, attack it.
You're trying to get to work, bumper cars.
That's right. Life's on fire, put out the water. Get some water.
So you said you're doing,
you're
kicking butt in your goals. And
I said put out the water. Can we talk about that?
Stop talking about that.
And then put out the fire. All right, how are you doing?
And not too bad. And workout's been struggling, and my knee hurts.
Good.
And I really don't know what's going on with that. I think I just trained it.
It's all right.
But today was a good day, and I'm definitely much stronger than I was a month ago.
That's what I like to hear.
And kicking butt and reading, and I'm reading a good book, and called Accompanied by Heroes, and it's about one of the pilots that got shot down in the Black Hawk Down.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he talks about how he used to get captured and talks about it was like 11 days.
Oh, what's it called again?
The Company of Heroes.
A Company of Heroes?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good book to listen to. Or
So like by Michael Durant.
Michael Durant.
Yeah, and that's super cool, super interesting. He does some podcasts with Jocko Willick.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's what he goes through the book on that, and I was like, damn. So I bought the book.
Nice. I'm reading a book right now on meditation, which is really what I want to focus on this year, is like meditation and get my breathing better and just less stress and more contentness. Had a big conversation about contentness this weekend and reflected on how bored I get so easily and how I always need to be doing something, and then just like adrenaline and being able to deal with it, and the mental side of stress and FOMOing on everything is just a big part of life. I think is meditation. Really helps with a lot more things than people realize. I'm learning. So I've been trying to get a little bit better at that. And I learned where Om comes from.
For what?
We say Om when you meditate. It's a type of meditation that gets you back in the like mindset.
Okay.
So your mind doesn't wander.
It just keeps you there.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool. There's a bunch of stuff. We can go to the adoration, meditation stuff. Anyways, that's a different episode. We should have that. Let's talk about the quote of the week here, though. A lot of good stuff. I'm gonna start putting quotes of the week on Instagram or Twitter and Instagram now. I think as well.
There we go.
Have a little more. I used to do it, and then I kind of got off it. But I want to get back into it. I just haven't looked up. I haven't taken the time to look up on my quotes.
You haven't done your Monday motivation?
Not a lot recently. I did I do Wisdom Wednesday too. But I haven't done it in a while. We should put it on the Kitchen Table podcast from now on. We could do it. That'd be great. Wisdom Wednesday, Motivation Monday.
There we go.
Frisky Friday. I don't know. Just kidding.
I'm here.
So there's 9 quotes I'm currently looking at. So I'm just gonna pick one because they're all brilliant. Okay. What I want to talk about is leadership is an action, not a position. Okay. That's by Donald McCarran. Another one is by Martin Luther King Jr. Since we just had MLK Day last Monday. It says a genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. I'll say that one more time. A genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. I think that's really good because a leader's not, everybody thinks a leader's trying to get you to do something, and they are, but they're trying to do that because they genuinely want to do that for the good of the cause or whatever it might be, right? So they're not searching for an answer. They're just trying to have a process that's better, right? They're trying to reach a certain point, and then they reach another point, So it's not an end-all, be-all. It's a process of how can we grow together for whatever cause you're trying to get, in my opinion. Obviously, MLK was a very influential guy, which is great for this season.
This was a little risky. Did you hear when Never mind. We don't have to go into it because I don't want to go into politics.
Politics, yeah. We don't like politics. Waste of time.
Yeah, but very, very influential guy that led very well. He definitely knew how to talk in a way that kept people motivated.
It's good.
And
that's what we want.
And definitely, yeah.
Well, it's a politician's. I don't get this because it's a politician's job. Like, we vote for them. It's their job to do what would be better for the group. It's so hard to just go against their own stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be difficult. I understand why the world is the way it is because it's so hard to go against. Like, if they change what they think due to everybody else, it's hard to really get them to believe it. You know, that's why politics is hard in my opinion.
Yeah. And politics is just interesting in itself because a lot of people just go for self-succession. Yeah. And that more than trying to change the world.
Yeah, I agree. Let's you know what else changes the world?
Vitargo.
You gotta start using that more. It'll probably help your knee recover too. That's not proven, but I think it probably will. Because it helps my recovery at least 10%. I think it's a great thing. We'll put the link in the description. But you can use 15% off from me. Use the code. I just think Vitargo is so good. Really just for your mental health. Tastes good. Goes through you quick. helps the digestive system, and it's big on muscle recovery. Helps you get 1% better for sure.
I mean, yeah, you had knee muscles fixed ASAP.
Yeah, if you have like a meal replacement,
It's like the outside.
you can use that for a meal replacement with your protein powder too. So it's quick and easy and it tastes good. So maybe that'll help your knee. But let's go to a quick.
It magically fixes it.
Yeah, it does. It's magic.
That's what I heard.
I mean, we'll be the first to test it and prove it. All right, we'll take a quick ad break here. We'll be right back with the definition of leadership. What up, YouTube?
Tell.
All right, here we go.
I don't have anything.
All right, we back. $, y'all. Definition of leadership. I love saying that. There's a bunch of definitions here. So we got the action of leading a group of people or an organization, right? So that's like guidance or direction.
Now, wait. Say that. The action of leading a group.
Yeah, a group of people.
That's such a dumb.
Yeah, it's very basic. It's basic.
It literally puts the word in.
It's basically Starbucks, but dictionary for leadership.
Yeah. No. Okay. Go on to the next one because that one wasn't good enough.
The state or position of being a leader. That's like.
What are you looking up here, boss?
I looked up leadership. So that's like being the like a party leader, like a political party.
What I'm saying is like. All right, continue.
Let me find here.
If the third one.
Here.
Okay, if the third one has lead in it, I'm gonna talk names.
This is better. This isn't from just Google Dictionary. This is from a whatis.com. Never heard of this, but we'll figure it out here. So the short level of this is leadership is the ability of an individual or group of individuals to influence and guide followers or other members of an organization.
I like down the best.
Yeah. So the ability of an individual or a group of individuals to influence and guide followers or other members of an organization. So I think guide is a really good thing there, because you're trying to help everybody get to a certain point, right? I think of football since I was on maybe the best weekend of football ever. Not even see every game. It was just awesome.
Well,
but
like, I'll go into this. What makes a leader?
Well, I think in terms of, you're talking about sports, it's a different, because everybody has their own little thing they do in sports. Like the quarterback does one thing, offensive line does another thing, the kicker does another thing, you know? Yeah. So like, there's some sort of leadership in everything. So the whole defense, for instance, the Chiefs defense sucked last night because Tyrann Mathieu got a concussion in the first quarter. That's their safety. He's the captain. Or he's the captain of the team. He gets hurt. He's also like in charge of the secondary, right? So there's the small leadership role of being in charge of the secondary. Mm-hmm. Then there's a bigger leadership role of him being the defense. And then there's a bigger leadership role of him influencing the whole team, right? So he has three large roles, in my opinion. The secondary one seems small, but it's large to me. And he goes out, and next thing you know, Josh Allen is throwing darts through the middle of the field, right? I'm not trying to take anything away from Josh Allen because he's obviously pretty good, but I just think if Tyrann Mathieu was there, that game never even is close to overtime. I think the Chiefs win by a touchdown. So I think that shows how much one little person makes a difference and how that influence or the way they go about themselves to help other people reach a bigger goal, aka in sports and football, Super Bowl. How can they help them reach that goal? Now, everybody's leadership role is a little bit different, which I'll get to. I'm just going to it now. Like in A type personality versus B type personality. A is more like authoritative, like you're going to do this, in steps. Yeah. Whereas B is kind of like, hey, you want to like, let's be friends, let's kind of build a relationship.
Like
and, yeah, it's like
more like a
laissez-faire. Yeah. Versus A would be a dictator type deal. Yeah. But hopefully not. I mean, we don't want to be like a pure dictator, but a little more freedom.
That's one thing. It's like you, as a leader, like you should never have to say because I said so for like someone.
Yeah, that's not good leadership.
Yeah.
I mean, parents do it all the time just because they want to show their authority. But
exactly.
I think it's more important to cater to the needs of them. I think that's why there's we should have him on the podcast too. There's an old Wartburg, Jim Miller, old Wartburg coach for wrestling. Won a ton of national championships.
I thought you said Wartburg.
No, Wartburg.
Okay.
And he basically said the reason that I was such a good coach, he talks about this, is because he catered to the needs of his wrestlers. If they're tired, all right, today we're going to go play dodgeball. Right? It's a fun activity. Hey, you know what? It's a Friday night. Instead of everybody going out or whatever they're doing, we're going to come over to my place and we're going to have pizza and play games. I got the whole team. Right? That gets the camaraderie up, builds relationships. And even when they're playing dodgeball, you know they're working hard. Like he'll put rules in there, like you gotta do 10 push-ups before you can throw a ball or whatever. That's a dumb example, but things to make it seem like you're having fun, but you're still getting better. You know. There's a podcast I was listening to. Is actually the Whoop podcast, and Bobby Stroop was on it, who works with Patrick Mahomes. He's a personal trainer type deal, and he said when Patrick hurt his arm a few years ago, what he did. Maybe it was his knee because it was legs. Anyways, whatever it was, he basically hit buttons and played tag. That's all he did. Buttons lit up, he would touch them.
Oh.
He would run and play tag. It's literally, there'd be a laser, he'd run to go touch it.
Yeah. That helps with agility and quickness.
Yeah.
I had to do that for soccer.
It's so simple, though.
Yeah.
People think, oh, he's a professional athlete, he's got to be doing these crazy drills.
I mean, they do that all the time.
And that's the same thing with leadership. We think it's so complicated that we make it this big ordeal and say, oh, he's a bad leader. He did this. She did that. How is she a bad leader? You don't know, like, their overall goal. Like, that's why I think there's so many – communication is a huge thing, right? So another story. I was in doing a USFL tryout for football this weekend in San Diego, and I missed one field goal. And the pure reason I missed it, 13 seconds left. It was a 54-yard field goal, essentially, to win the game or before half, whatever you want to say it as. And the reason I missed it, because my holder put the ball down before as I was nodding instead of before. It was nod, second, go. Because there was no, clock, right? And now there was a clock, and I didn't tell him before because I just assumed he'd snap it at 1. But he went at 2 instead. So then I was rushed to kick the ball, and I didn't get my hips through in time because I was rushed. So I sped up my motion, and I didn't get through it. So I missed it left. Pure reason I missed that was because I didn't communicate to him. From a leadership standpoint, my success relies on him, right? I'm in charge of it. He's doing whatever I'm telling him to do because I'm the one kicking it, right? So I'm in charge naturally. And he knew that. I knew that. I said, this is the direction, this is the distance, this is the hash, all that kind of stuff beforehand, and I didn't go through that because I just assumed. That makes a big difference by doing that. So in my opinion, my leadership there was bad at the end, and that's why that cost me, right? Navy SEALs talk about leadership. The reason they're so good, we talked with Nate Hager, talked about ownership. The reason military is so good at ownership and leadership is because if they fail, them or however many other people are on their crew die. It's literally life or death.
Yeah. A little different.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so
that's why
military leaders, if you look at a list, if you think in your mind who are the greatest leaders ever, I bet 80% of them are military leaders.
Yeah.
That's the way they're trained.
Yeah.
Right? So another example is CrossFit just fired the director of games. He came up with the workouts and made the CrossFit games and stuff, right? Been there from the start. It started in his own backyard. And then this guy, CEO from Oracle, comes in, Eric Rosa, which I don't know him personally, he's probably a good guy, but just fires him. And then tells him that they want to say that it's mutual. And Dave Castro's like, no, I want to be here while you're firing me. You need to tell the public you're firing me and just be real with them. So now the CrossFit world's all pissed off. Right? Because they fired him.
Why are they fired?
No, just because they didn't see the same direction as what Eric Rosa said.
Wait, what position was he?
Eric Rosa is the new CEO.
What was he then?
Dave Castro,
yeah.
The guy who got fired.
Yeah.
He was in charge of the games. He was the director of the games. So he runs all the CrossFit games. And the word on the street is they want to make it more.
Why wasn't he the CEO?
That's two different
If
positions.
you
He
know,
doesn't
if you
own
would-
the company. The CEO, Eric Rosa, owns part of the company as a CEO.
Because
it was
he
Glassman
made
who-
up the games, right? Correct?
He didn't make it up. He runs them.
Oh, but
Like,
I thought
he's
it
in
started,
charge.
I thought it started in his backyard.
Yeah, that's where they hosted them. Yeah. His family have a ranch in California, and that's where the first like 5 games were.
But he didn't invent it.
He didn't invent it.
He just ran it.
Yeah, he was an ex-Navy SEAL on SEAL Team 6,
Oh, so he.
and he was in charge of all the games and stuff.
That's
He's
it.
like
So
who
he
helped.
Didn't, he didn't invent it. He didn't.
No,
run
the
it.
person who invented CrossFit is Great Glassman, he basically sold the company because he said a racist comment, and public basically tortured
CrossFit's
him.
been going through it. I hear.
Yeah. This is the
Well,
leadership role.
Well,
It's a mess right now.
That makes sense to me. I mean, you got to go public with that because that's a big change. But at the end of the day, like, that's just a valid, like, decision. Like, if they're not on the same page and the CEO makes that decision, okay.
Yeah, no, but they
Yeah,
didn't have conversations about it, is the thing. That's just what they said they were on the same page.
That's just about like
Leadership role.
that's just about communication.
Yeah, which is bad leadership. And in my opinion,
It's just different. I mean, that's just on a different level, I'd say, because it's just like that's a publicized company.
it's not public.
What I'm saying is like what
But
I
people know about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that.
Like,
But I'm saying to have
it's like
that in turmoil is not good for CrossFit in general.
they'll move on.
Yeah,
It'll
but
be bigger and better in 2 years, guaranteed.
bigger and better than they are now, or bigger and better than they could have been with different leadership.
With whatever leadership's there now, they'll be bigger and better. Why? Because people just care.
Yeah,
I
but,
love like learning like people aren't held accountable at that level. Like,
yeah, but this is okay. So this is another example I think of leadership that people don't ever think about is keeping the core values together. There's a number, it's like 13 total people from original CrossFit and the vision of what CrossFit was supposed to be, which is helping. It started with military and firefighters and emergency people getting fit to be able to do their jobs and save more people's lives. And then it became a games as like, okay, if you want to do this for like to celebrate fitness, here it is, right? And it became a real sport. Now people do it. And it's proven to be like the best fitness gainer, I guess, in the world, right? To make you healthier, live longer, whatever. And there's only like 13 people left from the original vision of what CrossFit is supposed to be. So that's why people are mad.
why?
Because now the affiliates, because you pay to be a CrossFit gym owner, right?
Yeah.
Now the affiliates are making less money. They're paying more fees. They're ruining their gym. So it's going to be like going to an Orange Theory. Every Orange Theory does the same class, looks the exact same. You're required to do this, and this. Like working at Chick-fil-A, you must say, "My pleasure," otherwise you get fired, right? There's that TikTok thing going around. So
I don't think you get fired. You just get a premium.
that's what the workers get like trained into. They don't do certain things and they get fired and stuff. There's a big thing on TikTok I saw on Instagram or the news, one of the two. There's a big thing about it. But my point is that you have to have the core values of whatever you're trying to do together, right? If you lose, that's why Aaron Rodgers is so pissed off this winter, because him and Devontae Adams need people around them to help them, right? And then the leadership in Green Bay was like, no, we're going to do it our way. You have a veteran QB who's been there 16 years, now 17, and doesn't get a say in who he might throw the ball to. That's a problem, right? Because why is he not involved? Without Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers are not as successful as they are. Fact. So my point is, you got to have the values and the vision and keep those core assets together, or you need to change the vision of the company completely, which might be okay. But if it's not a board's decision or a majority of that decision, then if you can't handle that leadership, you need to fire the CEO, not the director of games, not the quarterback. You need to fire the GM. That's the problem. We think of leadership as it's top to bottom, whereas leadership is individual roles in a core set of values with multiple people in terms of an organization or a team to make it go to whatever vision people are trying to get to.
Yeah. I understand the Aaron Rodgers. I'm not understanding the.
Yeah, it's just because you probably don't know as much. I might have been a bad example because people don't know the insight. The point is Dave Castro has made the games like he's excelled tremendously at his job. There was no reason to fire him, and he was hard on people, but he gave it to him as it is. Like if you're not, they use the example of he's not the guy who's going to wait for you in the race, but he's going to make you want to keep up with him to be better. You know what I mean? It's like we're running a race, right? Let's say I'm Dave Castro. I say let's run a 5K. I'm not going to slow my 5K down to make sure you can run it. I'm going to motivate you and make you better when we're training so that you can keep up with me. So we're both that much better.
So it's the same. It's literally it's like
No.
So you're going to.
No,
Yeah, the training. Yeah, if you run out and get out there and run a 5K, and he does it, he wants you to make you better.
No, I'm not going to run with you in training to slow down. I'm going to run my pace. You're going to run your pace, but I'm going to motivate you to be able to catch up, to be able to do your job just as good as me, as fast as possible.
That doesn't seem redundant. Helpful at all.
It's not. The point is, he's not going to leave you. He's not going to wait for you, but he's not going to leave you behind. He's going to do everything in his power to get you to be better. Yeah. Which is what a leader should do.
Out here,
I see that.
Because you're contradicting yourself.
I'm not contradicting myself. I'm not.
You said he's not throwing his 5K down.
Yes, you're speeding yours up.
But if you can't run that fast, if you're not running that faster, then he has at some point has to slow down and stop, or he's just going to run it by himself and then it's kind of like over and done.
No, the point of the story is he's gonna make you be so motivated. You're gonna work so hard. You're gonna understand things so much quicker that you're not going to be left behind because you're going to want to try to keep up. So you're going to give everything you got. Like people say you give 100%. It's so hard to give 100%. Right? When you're down in the dumps to keep going, that's so difficult. So try to get that last rep is so hard. But you're going to get it because you care, because you want to be better for him and for the company or for whatever you're doing, is my point. It's like you don't want to make your parents like, you don't want to disappoint your parents, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You don't want to be bad at soccer, right? You don't want to if you take a PK in soccer, you don't want to miss it for your teammates because you're going to feel bad you got the team down, right?
Yeah. But I mean, to me at the end of the day, it's just like it's on me.
Yeah, I know.
I guess
it's on you with the 5K too. But I'm saying he's going to help uplift you to bring you closer.
In training, I'm so lost in what you're saying because what you just said makes no sense to me. I'm at like a third grade level at this point. You're speaking college.
We're moving on
because you just said that we're running 5K and he's not slowing down. I'm gonna run faster. But unless we have training together, that's not happening.
Yeah.
I'm running a 10-minute pace when he could probably run at 6:30.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is like that's not I'm going to run my 10-minute pace.
And I'm saying a year later, maybe he's running the 6:10 pace and you're running the 7 pace.
That's because I've just trained.
Yeah, but I'm saying that the leaders have helped you gain that much more, that much faster. A good leader does that. A good leader really helps you to make yourself better than you think you can be. That's what I'm trying to say.
So you're just talking that he's just your coach.
You can look at it as a type of coach, sure.
That's exactly what it is. I mean,
all leaders are some sort of coaches.
Okay.
But
I'm just gonna argue. I'm gonna debate it because from my point of view, it's not there.
I think leadership is multiple things, but he's motivating you or whoever's motivating you in this case to be better, helps you to get closer to your goal. Which is you're getting closer to your goal and I'm getting closer to my goal. It means whatever organization, team, etc. we're a part of is also getting better. And that's what we want from leadership. How can we influence somebody? How can we guide somebody to make ourselves better? Now, as a leader, what sucks about being a leader is that you have less leeway for error. I can't make you work hard and then I'm saying, yeah, I'm going to go eat some chips and I don't run that 5K. You know what I mean? Everybody notices you. You go up to speak to the public, everybody notices you. So it's hard to put on maybe the act, and some of it, I think some leadership has to be formed because of that. It's not all natural, I don't think. And I do think type A is more natural than type B in terms of leadership, in terms of being outspoken and known as a leadership role.
That's because a lot of people put in leadership positions don't know how to lead or never taught how to lead.
It's true. I agree. It's so funny because I was listening to a podcast the other day, the School of Greatness, which is basically like just like our podcast.
Mm-hmm. Great podcast.
It is. And he was talking to a guy who wrote a book, and basically about why to write your eulogy early. Right? He talks about goals and stuff like that. And he says that growing up poor is so much harder to be a CEO or a leader of a company, but you're so much better because you've experienced that hardship and you're just like no other way to go.
You started from nothing.
Yeah.
From ground zero, so you know what it's like to be at zero.
Yeah, so you appreciate it and you take that care for others.
Yeah. And generally speaking, when you start from zero, I guess it depends who you are. A lot of people, like, the more they make, the more they spend. But if you're like a good entrepreneur, a good leader, then you're not afraid to go back to zero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't, because they take more risks. They also said that in the podcast. They take more risks and they care about it more as well.
Yeah, because they know what living with nothing is.
Yeah. So they basically do whatever they have to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I think the military is so good at leadership.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of like people that like are given companies like family owned and all that, like people always like comment, oh, like your dad put you on or like your family put you on, and that like they'll never be as successful as like their parents.
Yeah.
And that because like they didn't build it from the ground up.
Yeah. Again, yeah, it's like getting paid. If you work for somebody and you get paid by the job you get done, or hourly. If you're hourly and you're doing concrete, oh yeah, I get paid hourly, right? I can make this happen. I can make this go one more hour of work today. I get paid an extra hour. But if you got to get paid by either how well the job is, like let's say a rating system, or you have to get by how much you get done. You're going to put a lot more effort into that.
Yeah.
So again, some of it's supply and demand and what your situation is.
The crazy thing, like with that though, with like any tradesmanship, is like a lot of people learn how to do it and then they go off and do it on their own.
Yeah. Which is, I would say, if you do it well, that's a leader, somebody teaching you how to do it.
To one.
Yeah. I think that's important. But I also think being a leader shows a lot of like struggles and confidence and hard times. Because again, everything comes back on you as a leader. Right? So that guidance, if you give that bad guidance or you're a bad role model for others.
Like you can't point the finger.
Exactly. And it looks bad in the whole organization, right? If Patrick Mahomes does something wrong, everybody's pissed. Right? But if the right guard does something, it's like, oh, okay, he's dumb. Move on from him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, the right guard has a lot to do with the game, but
yeah,
the quarterback is going to be...
I was just, giving a more known example.
Right. It's just like the quarterback and the kicker usually get the most heat because they're the ones who score points.
Yeah, essentially.
And that is like if you're not doing your job, like you're getting fired.
Yeah, kicker, we could go on that for a while. You get one shot.
Yeah, we're like those two or any other position.
Offensive line, you hold 10 times, you still got your job.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like people don't necessarily, I wouldn't say care, but it's just not as influential.
Yeah, which is crazy because again, I don't think people think of leadership as what leadership really is. They just think of the person who's in charge or gets the most spotlight. That's who they define as the leader.
Right. Well, that should be the leader, but that doesn't mean you have any leadership.
You can
be the leader. You can be the boss.
True. And anybody can be a leader, right? That right guard might be a leader of the team, right? In the locker room, he might be calling meetings. He might be taking people out to volunteer.
Where's the movie Greater? Where he's like, great movie.
It is a great movie.
Greater.
It is a great
movie. It's an
movie.
awesome movie. It's about a guy, he's in high school, he's not big enough, college isn't going to pick him up. And then, so he has to eat more. So he gets fat. And then where's he go? Ole Miss?
Arkansas. We talked about this last season too.
Did we?
Yeah.
We got to bring it back. Great movie. Because it's just such like a very good movie on leadership.
talk about goals too. I mean, basically, in whatever it takes, talk about being poor, coming from nothing, and he did whatever it takes.
If you haven't seen the movie, it's very good.
And he wasn't like obviously in the spotlight. He was literally a bench warmer.
Yeah.
And he was
his whole life.
And if you look back at his story, he was motivational. He guided others.
Yeah.
Like he was a great leader. That was society would not say he was a leader. Like for instance, my club soccer team, I wasn't deemed the captain, but my God, I was definitely like a leader. Like it was quite obvious. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to wear the captain's band to be a leader.
Right.
You don't have to go out for the coin toss to be a leader. You don't have to be the CEO to be a leader. You don't have to be in charge of your team to be a leader. Right? Guy in Greater was third string bench warmer. So I just think that it's important. And just because you're older doesn't mean that you're a leader, right? Like, so I was on the second team lift groups because I wasn't a starter going into preseason my senior year at football. And so I was like breaking us down and like trying to be like this group sucks. Like, I don't want to be in this group. Right? And I was like, it was me and one other senior. And I was like, we all need to be working hard, not only to make sure they're ready for game day, but to make sure that we get out of this spot. Right? And then I became a starter. And then it's like, oh, people are, I'm still one of the older guys on the team. Like, why can't I still be a leader? Just because I'm in first group now and I got changed from second to first, you know, kind of like, wow, you're like the bottom of the totem pole again. But really, it doesn't matter how old you are, senior, freshman, doesn't matter your ability. It just matters if you have the capability to influence others, which we all do. So I think it's important to say that anybody can be a leader. I'm going to go to how to be a better one. We got more stuff on that. We're about, that was 21, so we're like 33 minutes in.
No, that's fine. This is all right. I didn't understand what the heck you're talking about. When you're talking about he wants to make you better if we run a 5K, I'm like, what the fuck? Excuse my language. I'm watching. I was out there confused. I was literally like, no, I was like, we're gonna run a 5K. I'm running a 5K.
It's all good. We'll get to a different time.
No, we're not. We're not talking about that ever again. That was so dumb. We're never talking about it again.
Taylor's mad because he doesn't understand.
No,
me.
I thought that I don't understand. I guess okay. I didn't understand the point where you're coming from because I was more. I don't know who he is, but my point is like unless he's like a coach or a trainer, then it has no effect on how fast you run a 5K with me.
Because let's say it's a team and you want to get better team points.
Yeah, again, and then he's on my team. Then he's a leader. Then he's an influential person in my life.
Yeah, he's an influential person. I said they're both in CrossFit.
You were like, you guys are on a 5K. He's gonna make you run around faster than you've ever ran before because he's who he is.
Go check out.
I don't care.
Go check out the YouTube link. Leave a comment either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or YouTube. Leave a link or leave a comment. We'll put some links. Let us know if you understood my analogy or not, or if I'm just an idiot. Just let me know that I'm an idiot. Yeah. Okay? Make sure you like and subscribe, all that stuff too.
My argument was so valid in that.
You can
it
say,
was so dumb, not worth it.
You can say Taylor's right, Austin's an idiot. Just comment and let us know. That's all I want to know.
You don't have to say I'm an idiot.
And I'm serious. You know how many people I say this to and they're like, yeah, I'll comment, and then they don't? Yeah, I'm looking at you. Make sure you actually comment and do it.
Like and subscribe.
Seriously. Get it out there. Let us know who's dumb. If it's me or Taylor, who's right, who's wrong?
I really just think it's dumber.
And my analogy. Not
towards the direction. If I put a definition on it, like right now thinking about it, that'd be my definition.
I like it.
And then
go ahead.
I don't know what your next question would be.
I was gonna jump to it wasn't a question, it was about 21 ways to get. We've talked a lot about leadership, so now how can we help others to get better at it? Is what I was going to. Unless you got something for the previous stuff. I just put my pen.
Are you talking about? You're gonna read the definitions from the people around us.
That's 1440. Check out the 1440 this week. We'll talk about
communication with me.
Some others. I told you that earlier. Or listening.
For both parts.
We're both bad leaders and bad followers. All right. 21 things. We'll go through these relatively quick. Number 1, which is awesome because it's the challenge of the week. I didn't even realize this. Number one, manage your emotions. Right? Things are going bad. If the leader's like, oh crap, this is bad, then everybody else. It's just like what we had your friend on. Yeah. And she was like, I got to make sure, like, if a storm's coming, she's got to act cool. Otherwise, if she's like, uh-oh, and the kids are going to be like, uh-oh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that,
I was like, can you pause everything?
yeah, I can.
I mean, I can say it all.
Yeah, just say it out loud.
You're out here, like, I was talking about the definition of leadership and how we should just Google it, like, why we got to read it, what people say. And then you're out here literally reading.
This isn't just Google.
Reading. Oh, my God.
I Googled how to be a better leader.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but I didn't just use the definition.
But you used Google to get there, right?
Yeah, but I didn't just Google and say, what's the definition? I looked into, like, what I think is a good way to define leadership.
That's exactly where we're at. Like, you said, I don't want to read off the internet. And then here we are reading off the internet.
No, I didn't just.
Yes, you did. No, you're like the leadership, the definition of leadership's not good enough for me.
No.
Off Google. And I said, okay.
It's not that the definition.
Because you want to hear from other people. And
yes. I want to get. Google's a great starting point, but then how can we expand it? Yeah, I'm expanding it. We have conversations about it.
It's the same thing.
It's not. It's
you're done.
further.
You're done.
It's further. Develop your skills is number 2.
Yeah, you really gotta have this strategic mindset.
I do like that. Strategic. I like that.
Especially coming with leadership, like you have to have a strategic mindset, leading the people around you, and like you're talking about catering to people's needs and wants. As if you're not.
I think that's important. If you know what they want,
to make the world go around and everyone to work in it like as smooth as possible, as a well-oiled machine, you have to have those like that knowledge. If you're coming in as a boss and you don't know the ins and outs of everyone on your team and that, then you're just gonna be an uninfluential, like roundabout like team. Like I think like
you're gonna be average.
Yeah. Like I think of like our Woodward's like sporting teams.
Mm-hmm.
Is you just take a bunch of random kids.
They throw them together. It's not as good.
Yeah, instead of kids that have built and know each other for
makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Just like chemistry in general, any team would make a big difference.
Yeah. Because like
even if given a speech,
all the kids on Woodward, and I'm talking about like basketball is a random stuff like that and MC and thing. And that they're very, very good individualized now. Mm-hmm. They suck as a team.
Yeah. So they're just everybody's trying to play it by themselves. They're playing 1 versus 5.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. Usually, unless you're LeBron James.
Yeah. And they definitely improved over the year.
Yeah, just because they learned to play with each other a little bit.
Exactly. And we have really the leadership on the coaches and leaderships there. Mm-hmm. But I was just like thinking about that. I was like, if you're not willing to like know and learn and grow with your team, then you're not gonna be a leader. Then you're just gonna be a placeholder.
I agree. You're gonna want to clip this on our video here because this is gonna be the best thing that the audience is gonna hear all night. But it's important for leadership, going off of your point of making sure everybody is on the same page or wanted or works as a unit. As a leader, you need to make sure everybody knows their role and more importantly, thinks their role is important.
The back end is the best part.
Yeah. I think it's so, like, if you think you're, like, a great example of this is the 6th man in basketball, since we're talking about basketball. 6th man, you're not quite a starter. A lot of people think that means you're not good enough to be a starter. That might just mean the rotation's better. Might just mean you come off the bench better. It might just mean that's what the team needs, right? So that's your role as the 6th man. There's an award for the 6th man of the year.
It's like the most important part.
Just because you don't start doesn't mean you don't play the most minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Just because you don't start doesn't mean you're good enough or not good enough. But to think that your role, 1, to know that's your role, and 2, to think it's important and to get shown that it's important, I think plays a huge role in your relationships, your chemistry, your growth, your self-confidence, right? Because you got to have self-confidence before your overall company or whatever you're working for can have confidence. So I just think that's super important.
Yeah.
And
it's like a lot of times it's how you frame things.
Oh yeah, words make a big difference.
Yeah. Like you can just say like, "Oh, you're gonna be on the bench," and that, or
that sounds awful.
Yeah. Or you could frame it as,
"You're gonna give us a spark."
Yeah. You're gonna be the first one off the bench because you're going to light the team on fire.
Yeah. You're saying the same thing in two totally different ways.
Exactly.
That makes a big difference. There's a couple books I've read on that stuff too. See, look at us. I just Googled stuff. Bull crap. We out here changing the world. One listener at a time.
Exactly.
All right. Number 3 was be a great communicator. We've talked about that. Number 4 is important, and you said it a little bit. Number 4 is admit when you were wrong.
Accountability.
Yeah. You can't just say, oh, I didn't do it or whatever. It's on you, right? You can't hide from it. So you gotta have ownership, essentially, like Mr. Hager said.
If you're not willing to like take humility and accountability in you and your team's actions, then you shouldn't be a leader. You shouldn't be in that spot.
We'll move to 6 and 7, because number 6 is be a part of the team, and number 7 is give credit when it's due.
Yeah, just kind of like there's like the difference between being a boss and being a leader. Like you can be a boss and just like demanding things from like the top.
Yeah.
Or you can be boots on the ground with
working.
And like in the trenches.
Yeah, I agree. Also, like when you're giving, because you're going to be the one on the podium giving a speech or a interview, whatever, to like talk about the other people on your team or organization. I think it's super important to talk less about yourself, which is the humility part. Back to number 5, that was learn how to spot talent. Again, that goes with my vision thing I said earlier. How can we have the core values and get people in the company that want to match the values of your vision?
Yeah.
Right? The reason that our podcast goes, sometimes it's not very smooth, but smoother than most, is because 1, we know each other. 2, we have an idea what the other person wants, and 3, we have a common goal. So it's a lot easier if you have people on your team that want to make it be better. Another thing we just said, or Taylor just said, be a mentor, not a preacher. So how can you basically give people their own path and help guide them, and not just be the boss and say, hey, you're doing this?
Yeah. Like I would say is just helping people understand their worth and that in leadership, and that, because if you're not giving, like kind of like how you're saying, like knowing like their role is important.
Yeah.
Is just giving them worth in themselves.
Yeah.
And that, because a lot of people, especially like nowadays, a lot of people just struggle with like self-image and
they do.
Confidence.
And some of it is because they don't have anybody. Like number 11 is be quick to praise. Like let them know, like, hey, good job today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like especially I think of kids at school. A lot of kids just need that one little thing that gets a spark going. You know, you're supposed to say 8 positive things to 1 negative, and the world's the opposite. We say 8 negative to 1 positive. I don't like that. Anyways,
because the world's just full of hypocrisy trying to make it go around.
You're so right. Number 9 is invest in people. We just talked about it. Number 10 is give freedom and be flexible. 12 is to bond with your team. Go ahead.
No,
I'll be like Pat McAfee. Sorry, Taylor. Go ahead. I just get talking and he's like, "I'm sorry."
Well, you're just reading now. Like it's like not.
Well, because we just talked. It's more of the same that we kind of talked about. So I just wanted to get through like some new things. I didn't want to just keep going the same thing. Here's a new one though. Well, I guess I talked about it a little bit. Number 13 is get out of the office. So I talked about Jim Miller having like team get-togethers, or Google has a meditation space and a gym, and 10% of your time is to work on whatever project you want. I think that stuff's important. Because if it's just work, or goal, like we can do that because that's like how we're built. But like if I did that with my fiance, she'd be pissed. She'd be like, can we just go watch a movie, or can we just go for a walk? No, we're gonna get better today. But sometimes that leads to getting better. You know, you can't just hammer down all the time.
Because you have better reflection, better understanding. You have a lot more like visualization just in taking, I would say, a mental break, but just like time off the clock.
Yeah, and
going back to basketball, like there's always time on the court, but then you can always learn from sitting in the stands.
Yeah, some of the best times in sports are bus rides, team activities. You know what I mean? Like hanging out in the locker room, like not even playing the game. Like think about the Bills and Chiefs last night. Podcast coming on Tuesday, so 2 nights ago for you guys. Literally might have been top 5 NFL game ever. And the people who played in that game, yeah, they're going to remember it's on the game, but I guarantee you they think about more how they felt in that locker room after the game. I bet that's more important. That's why I want to play football. That's why I want to win the Super Bowl. I don't want to win a Super Bowl to say I won a ring. I want to win a Super Bowl because I want to have the confetti coming down. I want my wife and kids to come down and give me a hug, and then that's like the moment, like, that I want that picture framed. That's what I want.
You say you're going to Disneyland.
Yeah. Except I don't really care about Disneyland. I'd rather just go to the parade, hang out, and do whatever. I mean, I don't care. I'll shoot some Buzz Lightyear stuff. I'm good. I'm whatever, man. It's cool. Anyways, so I think having fun is the next one. So I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, out of us taking a few steps back, I would say like leaders have to identify people that I don't know if you said with talent or something.
Yeah, like
that have the same vision or whatever.
Yeah,
like anyone can lead with the right leaders. If that makes sense. I'll explain. So like in the military, or just like in the office, doesn't matter. And that like if you have a person and that's just like mind their own business, you're working in that, and then you have like your leadership, your I don't know, your manager, and that can just look at you and say, hey, you're doing well, and that, and then like the manager's like moving on or like leaving or whatever, and then takes him under his wing just to like push him in the right direction, and becomes a leader. Yeah. But this man's work never said another word, or woman. It doesn't matter. He, she, it, and that. So like anyone has the ability to lead. They just have to be willing to accept the leadership position. Correct. I agree.
And they got to have the tools to help do it too, which is why you said you got to help train or build it or whatever.
Because I would say,
but your life experiences really help become who you are. So I think some of those.
Yeah, it's like I would also say like a lot of leaders are built when they're young.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that you can't build yourself when you're older.
I agree.
Especially again, like the chips just fall on like as they lay. Like not everyone's built to be a leader, but that doesn't mean you're not.
Doesn't mean
you're be one.
And everybody's a leader in their own way.
Right.
Like parents are naturally leaders for their kids. A leader or a role model. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's different. That'd be another conversation to have. Go ahead.
Yeah. Parents are just iffy to me. Some parents are really shitty.
Some parents are really good.
Yeah.
Again, experience probably plays a role. And like how you grow up. If you grow up and your parents don't do anything for you, then yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like your first time having a kid, you're like, I got all this experience.
No. I don't think any.
Honestly though, like I mean, you work with kids, I work with kids, so like to me, like I feel like I have experience. I've never had a kid.
Yeah, but it's different when it's your own. It's different when it's your own though. People say like when you have a kid. I heard a quote the other day that said when you have a kid, it's like nothing else in the world matters. Your happiness relies on how your kid is. Yeah. And I just can't fathom that right now.
You know, like there's so many stories out there that like a lot of parents give up their dreams.
Yeah. It's crazy. I don't want to do that. That's so selfish, but I don't want to do that right now.
I'm kicking my kid to the curb.
I'm just not having a kid for a while. Moving on from this sappy kid stuff. As a leader, you should give the benefit of the doubt, right? And stop micromanaging. So trust your team, right? It can't be all on you. Otherwise, that's not being a good leader. Because you as a leader also need others.
You have, like, as a leader, for me, you have to give an opportunity for others to lead.
Yeah, and so give trust to earn trust. And then recognize the gifts of your people. But then the next two are hold them accountable if they do mess up, but also don't go in their face and scream. Maybe like show some compassion and care. That bridges the gap. Like it's not you're on a pedestal and they're below you. It's like we're even here. You know what I mean? So like make them feel wanted and spread that love. That's the last one, which might be one of the most important actually. It says here, amor vincit omnia. That's so bad. Even the ancient Romans knew love conquers all. And God, above all these, is love, right? So love your people, love your organization, show love to the people you serve, and you will discover the secret to great leadership.
Right.
So I got the haters, baby.
Love's such an interesting thing.
No,
This is way off.
We got an episode. Don't worry, I got it wrote down. We got an episode on love. That's gonna be 3 hours long. Anyways,
What's the challenge of the week?
yeah, challenge of the week. Then we'll wrap this thing up here. Is I think we should start with number 1. Is to manage your emotions.
Yeah.
To promote better leadership, right? How do you help? Is if you feel your emotions and manage them correctly. If things are going bad, but you show like you're happy, that helps reflect on the other people for your energy, right? You can show love, compassion. You can trust others. You can give a lot of leadership things just by knowing your emotions, and that's something we talked about that people struggled with last season. So I want to continue to build on that. I think that'd be a good opportunity. Other than that, we'll link our socials down below. Expect a lot more social media posts from us here. Get the word out. Don't forget to comment if I'm right or Taylor's right or who's stupid. Either just comment.
We already know who's right.
Yeah, it's me. See that confidence right there? And then
the real question is who's done.
Yeah, that is. You're right. Anyways, appreciate you guys listening. Season 2 off with a bang. We'll catch you guys on Thursday for the 1440. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good week.
Love it.